next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Tonight, the military reset's no longer a theory. It's happening right in front of the country. Pete Hegseth just made a string of moves that tell you exactly what President Trump's second term is doing to the Pentagon. Bring back warriors, push out over COVID tyranny, pumping real power into force readiness, and openly connecting today's strike posture against Iran to the disaster of the Obama years. While the corporate media snickers over jokes about dolphins, the War Department is rebuilding American strength at full speed. The question is not whether this is real. The question is how much the old guard is actually panicking right now. See, this matters to military families first because for thousands of Americans, the COVID mandate purge was not some abstract Washington policy. It was a career destroyed, a pension delayed, a calling ripped away by politicians and bureaucrats who treated conscience like a disciplinary problem. Now, the Trump administration is correcting that wrong by extending the path back into uniform through April 1st, 2027. That means more time, more opportunity, and a real shot at restoring honor. It matters to every American taxpayer as well. Hegseth says the old Pentagon racket let contractors charge the public to build factories, then charge the public again for the weapons. All while delays piled up and executives got rich. President Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget is not being sold as blank check spending. It's being sold as a reset. More accountability, harder negotiation, and a military built for winning. And politically, this is devastating for Democrats. The former Biden administration weakened trust, while Trump's team is rebuilding force, morale, and mission at the same time. And while we're talking about restoring strength and getting people back to full capacity, I'm going to tell you about something that got my attention in a very personal way. You've probably seen the clip. Joe Rogan sitting with Mel Gibson, talking about people close to him who went through serious health struggles and then saw dramatic turnarounds. Rogan brings up red light-based therapies and how they impact the body at a cellular level. Gibson just says it straight, this stuff works. See, that got my attention because in my own life, I watched something very similar unfold. For a long time, my wife was dealing with constant discomfort and anxiety. It was one of those things that slowly wears on a family. Then I came across Jonathan Otto and red light therapy. If you want to learn more, go to myredlight.com. Use NNN25 for 25% off individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles, and it's worth a very serious look. You won't regret it. Now back to the bigger story, because what Hegseth said next blew the hole straight through the media's favorite narrative. Now, this is the part the press really does not want to touch. Hegseth's not just talking about better budgeting or better morale. He's drawing a direct line from the past regime weakness to present-day threats. He said many of the Iranian military factories and bases now being systematically destroyed were paid for by the pallets of American cash Barack Obama sent to Tehran under the Iran deal. That changes the entire frame. It's not a random conflict. This is America cleaning up a mess Democrats helped to actually finance. And then, of course, we're learning more about these kamikaze dolphins. Remember that story? The left is mocking Hegseth for joking about the U.S. using kamikaze dolphins. Funny, because it's not as far off as you might think. Check out this work from Brittany Hughes.
Can you kind of clarify these reports of kamikaze dolphins that we've heard about?
I haven't heard the kamikaze dolphin thing. It's like sharks with laser beams, right?
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
So, of course, the left is mocking Pete Hegseth relentlessly for talking about kamikaze dolphins and making it sound like he's a moron who shouldn't be running our military, except that's not at all the truth. Here's what happened. So the BBC published a report earlier this week claiming that Iran might be using trained dolphins as part of its military operations, which, as funny as it sounds, is actually a thing because we do it. The U.S. Navy, for example, has used military dolphins to do things like sniffing out underwater mines for decades. We actually have something called the U.S. Navy Marine Mammal Program. Look it up. So the BBC published a report claiming that Iran might be doing something similar in the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran isn't us. So when a reporter brought it up to Pete Hegseth and asked him about it during a press briefing this week, Hegseth jokingly called them kamikaze dolphins and said that while the United States might have them, Iran definitely doesn't. It was a joke. And quite frankly, not too far off from something that we actually do. But the left will twist this to make it sound like our country is being run by morons who want to blow up dolphins. And they're counting on you to be uninformed enough to buy that. The more you know.
The more you know. So the media tried to turn a clear joke into another fake scandal. Now Hegseth gets deadly serious, pointing straight at Obama, saying Iran's military machine was built with pallets of American cash. Listen. Wait, where's the clip? Okay, hang on. I know I have it here. Here it is.
Many of the Iranian military factories and bases that we're systematically destroying were paid for by the pallets of American cash that Barack Obama flew into Tehran under the Iran deal. You might call it an inconvenient truth. Iran took our money and turned it into weapons and bunkers and ammo. And now we're destroying those weapons, and you're righting, Mr. President, that grievous wrong. And make no mistake, we had to act. And our objectives are clear. No nukes, no Navy, and a complete dismantling of their missile program and defense industrial base. And as Marco pointed out, that mission, and the VP as well, has not changed since day one. Many of the Iranian military factories and
So Secretary of War Hegseth confirming the world's #1 sponsor of terror, Barack Hussein Obama. Tying today's fight back to Obama's worst deals. Next, Hegseth has added another year for American troops to return to military service who were wrongly terminated due to COVID tyranny.
Today, in this video, as we said we would, I want to update you on our efforts to reinstate those service members who were unjustly forced out of the military during the COVID-19 panic. While I'm proud of our efforts over the past year, our obligations to make things right are not yet complete. I'm therefore extending the application of the Department's Reinstatement and Return to Service guidance established last April. The revised guidance will now apply to former service members, our warriors of conscience, who wish to return to service through April 1st of 2027. So we're extending this to make sure anybody that wants to take advantage of it has additional time to take advantage of it. Maybe you were waiting to see whether we meant it or not. We do. We hope you'll take a look. To further encourage the return of experienced and dedicated service members, effective immediately, the active service obligation for individuals returning to service under this guidance is now reduced from 4 years to 2 years. And this change reflects our confidence that returning members will make an immediate and positive impact and aligns our reinstatement policy with the needs of both the service members and the military services. Maybe for some...
And it's about time. And then we have this, laying out how Trump's Pentagon is ditching the bureaucrats, squeezing the contractors, and putting taxpayers first.
A broken Pentagon bureaucracy was doing the same thing for decades. When our warfighters needed more weapons, aircraft, and ships, the Department of Defense allowed contractors to double dip at your expense. They charge you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charge you again for the final product. And despite paying companies to make weapons faster, schedule delays were constant, and cost overruns were the norm. All while their CEOs got rich. But today, President Trump's War Department is flipping this rigged system on its head. We're not tolerating delays in production or cost overruns anymore. We've pushed out the bureaucrats who've made these deals in the past and replaced them with the most talented negotiators in the private sector. A group of businessmen so elite, they've been rightly dubbed Deal Team 6. It's simple. We're putting the American taxpayer first by offering you a better deal. We now move at the speed of business, not bureaucracy. Now, when a defense company expands its production to sell more equipment to the U.S. military, they pay the bill. They pay for new factories, assembly lines, manufacturing plants, not the taxpayer. In exchange, we're giving these companies steady, long-term orders for exactly what our warriors need. And defense companies are making things in higher volumes, much more quickly while keeping their prices flat. Should these companies fail to deliver, we will hold them accountable and bring in new companies who will. Speed, volume, and fiscal responsibility. It's common sense, and it's what the American taxpayer demands. This War Department has made the move from bureaucracy to business. Over the next month, we will release a series of videos that highlight how President Trump's historic $1.5 trillion defense budget will make a generational investment in our arsenal of freedom. This investment will secure and protect the homeland and ensure America's military remains the most lethal fighting force on earth for generations to come. We're going to spend every dollar of that money responsibly because that's what you deserve, that's what America needs, and that's what this president demands.
Wow. Well, it's about time they started some real accounting over there at the Pentagon, right? See, that's the real headline. Trump's not merely funding the military, he's reorientating it towards victory, loyalty, and deterrence. Warriors of conscience forced out during the previous administration are being welcomed back. Pentagon deal-making is being dragged out of the swamp and put on a performance standard. And the War Department is saying out loud what the establishment media buried for years, the bad Democrat policy empowered enemies, and now America is dismantling the threat. So when the left fixates on Hegseth joking about kamikaze dolphins, understand what they're doing. They're distracting from the fact that the United States has real maritime capabilities, real leverage, and real momentum in one of the world's most critical choke points. They laugh because they can't defend their record. So the bottom line is the troops are being brought back, the military is being rebuilt, and the Trump administration is running the War Department like America's security actually matters again. That is what leadership looks like. Not lectures, not mandates, not weakness packaged as diplomacy. Results. The former Biden administration pushed out patriots. President Trump is bringing them home. The old Pentagon rewarded delay and waste. Trump's team says those days are over, and the same media that ignored years of failure now wants you focused on a joke instead of the fact that America is back on offense. If you agree this military reset is long overdue, share this report, subscribe, and comment below. Should every service member forced out over the COVID mandate be fully restored? Yes or no? And for alerts that the algorithm never sends, to hear directly from me when it matters most, text the words raw feed to the number on the screen, 844-840-4963, so you can get direct messages from me straight to your phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. America's rebuilding its strength, and we're just getting started.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.